rocking around the Christmas tree at the Christmas party hop. Mistletoe hung where you can see everybody.
Hey friends, and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, as promised, I'm bringing you guys a step-by-step on how to apply gels. Now pretty much I'm going to go ahead and insert this picture on this common mistake that usually occurs throughout the process of applying gels. Now if you have had this happen to you, I recommend you watch this video so you can learn how to troubleshoot this issue. Now this is something very common that usually happens when applying gels, and it could be multiple reasons why. So I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate with this top coat. Why does this issue usually occur? And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to insert the picture again so you guys can take a really good look on what I am talking about. So again, if you had this happen to you, this video is for you. So I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate with a little bit of cuticle oil. As you guys can see, I placed on my finger. I'm going to go ahead and rub this into the nail. Now the only reason why I'm doing this is because I want you guys to see why does this happen. So usually you do not see the oils on the nail, right? So say your client contaminated their nails somehow, rather by scratching their head, touching their skin, or just after washing their hands with some soap. Usually this can happen too. Why? It's because some soaps do have moisturizers in it or oils. So this can happen as well, even though your client washed their hands. So you might have think, well, they washed their hands and they dried it, it should be fine. But then this happens, and then you start thinking maybe it's the lamp or it's the gel, and so on. So pretty much, as you can see, the gel is separating as I am applying it, right? And you can see how it starts to open up and you see these little circles on it. So usually we sometimes don't even get to see it while we're applying. We just go ahead and we keep on working with the other fingers, and by the time it goes into the lamp, this is the way it's going to cure, right? So you want to avoid this before curing. If you look at the nails before putting into the lamp, if you take a good look at them and they look like this, you want to make sure you're going ahead and you're wiping this off completely with a lint-free wipe and some alcohol, because you need to remove all of the oils or moisture that is on the nail before curing. So this is just a common mistake that usually happens in the beginning of learning how to work with gels, or just pretty much anything. This can happen even to an experienced nail tech. I have it done to me all the time, and usually it's because my client decides to snack while I'm doing a service, or they're scratching their head or touching their skin, and that creates the nail to get contaminated with any moisture, oils, and so on. So again, to avoid this common mistake, all you want to do is go in with a lint-free wipe. In my case, I don't even use wipes. I just grab a piece of napkin, and you guys are going to see. I'm going to grab a piece of napkin and I'm going to cut that. I'm going to go ahead with some alcohol and I'm going to completely wipe this off before curing. So you want to make sure you do this before you cure. So again, I'm just going to go ahead, wipe this down completely. And you can do this after they wash their hands as well, just to avoid this from happening. So now that we have our acrylic nail, and I'm going to go ahead and dust this off. So pretty much I'm going to go back and start off again with the part of going in, cleaning with some alcohol and a piece of napkin or whatever you guys use to wipe down the nails. You're going to go ahead and do that. And you want to do this for all 5 fingers. So say you're working on one hand, you want to do this on those first 5 fingers, and then you want to go back once you're done that hand and do it with the second one. So with one hand first, because while you're providing this service or while you're working on that hand, the other one is touching things, right? So you want to avoid that contamination. And then once you're ready for the other hand, then you want to go ahead and do the same. So I'm going to wait for this to dry. As you guys can see, it completely dried. Now I'm going to show you guys this base gel. The only time I use a base on the nails is when I'm working on a natural nail. Now, for the sake of this video, I'm just showing you guys that just in case you were wondering and you want to apply gels onto your natural nails, you want to use a base coat first. Now, again, for the sake of the video, I started with a top coat to show you guys how to troubleshoot this issue. And now we're going to go ahead into colors, right? So before we apply our gel polish, I wanted you guys to know that I'm working on acrylic service. Usually when you're working on acrylic service, surface, you can go straight in with your gel polish. There's no issues with that. It's going to adhere fine. I've never had issues with that before, so I just wanted you guys to know that. I don't like to apply base onto the acrylic. I like to go in straight with my gel polish, and the reason why is because I don't want to lose the shape or the structure of the nail. Sometimes they tend to look clumpy and bumpy after applying gel, even though your structure looks nice alone with acrylic. So I'm just going to go ahead and show you guys really quick how I pick up my polish. So as you notice, I'm cleaning the back end of the brush. I'm just completely trying to remove too much of this product of the brush, as you guys can see, right? Now this is a brand new bottle of gel, so it tends to pick up a lot of product, even though I don't want that, right? I'm going to go ahead and start on the middle or center of the nail, like right in the apex area. And I'm going to work this brush. As you guys can see, I'm rocking it back and forth so that it opens up like a little fan. And I'm going to go ahead and push that up into the cuticle area. Now, I'm not going completely up yet. I'm just dragging my brush down slowly. And the reason why I want you guys to practice this, and then that's just the first stroke. This is the second stroke. And I'm going to go into the third stroke. Now, the reason why I want you guys to practice this and master this is because understanding the chemistry behind the gel polish is very important when it comes to application. And with that being said, it's because gel polish is not the same as regular polish. A lot of us, when we are beginners, we're used to the regular polish. Regular polish dries as you're applicating it or you're applying it. Gel polish does not dry on you. It does not starts to harden, or nothing happens to the gel until you cure it, right? So let's just put that out there. You want to make sure that you're stretching this product throughout the nail while you're applying it. And the reason why is because a lot of times we think that it didn't get a full coverage. We keep on adding product onto the nail. So by the time you take that to the lamp and you try to cure it, it won't cure completely because it does not have a nice thin layer. Again, you see me working my brush into the cuticle area, slowly just bringing it down from side to side, as you guys can see, because I'm trying to cover this nail. Again, it isn't a perfect application, and that's fine because we can go ahead with a second coat. Some colors take 2, 3, even 4 coats, depending on how thin the product is. As you guys see, I missed a little corner here. I'm just going to go ahead and clean my brush as much as possible. Now, had I noticed this before I put my brush away, I would have used the same amount that was already on the brush to clean up this area, right? Or to cover that area. So again, I'm going to go ahead with my brush. And as you guys see, I'm slowly going in. And I'm not brushing and brushing and brushing more product into the nail. I'm just stretching whatever I have on my brush and on the nail. I'm just trying to stretch this on to this one nail. So that's pretty much it. I would go ahead and cure this just the way it looks like. There's nothing wrong with curing this nail like that. Once you get the second coat, it'll be fine. Now, because I'm a perfectionist and I want to show you guys as well, you can always go ahead and before curing with a second coat. But you want to make sure that this time is to remove some of that product and evenly distribute a little bit more, as you guys can see. So without pressing that brush too much into the nail, just lightly feathering it in, you'll get this nice application. And this first application looks amazing, as you guys can see. Now, I had cured this for 60 seconds and I touched it with my finger because I wanted to show you guys, do not panic when this happens, okay? So a lot of times after curing, you will see your client tap their finger and they panic. You don't have to panic because it isn't going to go anywhere. It's already cured, which is perfectly fine. And if it wasn't cured, you don't have to panic either. It's gel, so you can just go ahead and fix it before curing. Another thing is that gel tends to have an inhibition layer. An inhibition layer is the sticky layer that stays above the surface of the polish. And that naturally happens because you want to adhere the next layer. So say if it's a top coat or another layer of polish, you will go ahead in with another layer of polish and you'll lay that on it. So this is why you guys want to keep that application nice and thin so it isn't bulky. And then also curing in between. So 60 seconds of curing I'm going to go ahead in with a second layer so you guys can see how this is going to turn out. Again, look at the amount of product that I'm carrying on this brush. It's very, very minor. It's a little bit of product. I'm working my brush into that cuticle area again, rocking it back and forth, and I'm pulling that down, stretching. You want to do that in the center, and you want to do this on both sides. Now you can see the brush strokes as I'm brushing this into the nail, and that's totally fine, guys. Again, do not panic when you see that. It won't cure that way. If you give it a couple seconds for that to set. So basically, the chemistry behind the gels or the ingredients are very similar to what our acrylics carry. So when I say that the product bounces back, is because it is naturally or automatically setting into place. You guys have to give the product a little chance to do what it's supposed to or what it's made to do. So by constantly brushing more product in it, it's not going to help. Just make sure you're keeping it nice and thin, nice and clean, the application. You can always go in with a brush and a little bit of alcohol and clean up your sides or around the cuticle area. That's totally fine. As you guys can see there, you can see the brush strokes, right? Since I have not cured yet, I'm allowed to still go in with the brush and clean it up. Now, when I mean clean it up, I'm just going to stretch a little bit more of this product into that area so that it is evenly distributed throughout the whole nail before curing again. So I'm not applying more product into the nail. I'm just stretching whatever I can into that place. So kind of imagine the gel being like something elastic, right? It's a little bit like, I would say kind of like a balloon. You're stretching this onto the nail completely. Now, once it bounces into place, right? You guys see how evenly this looks? This is what you want on every application. If you feel like it looks bulky, go ahead in with your brush and remove some of that bulk with your brush before curing. Now we're going to go ahead and cure this for 60 seconds, and we're going to come in with a top coat. So now that we have our top coat, I'm going to show you guys really quick. Sometimes when you use one type of brand of polish and then you go in with a different type of brand of gel top, you can get that separation that we showed in the beginning of the video. That can occur as well too. That just means that those two products do not work good together. So you're going to have to use a different top coat or the same brand of top coat of the gel polish that you're using in that case of that happening, right? So now I'm just going to go ahead with the top coat. Again, I'm starting a little bit below that cuticle area and working into the cuticle area, keeping my nail at a 45-degree angle so it's facing the table, because I want to avoid this flushing or just dripping into that cuticle area. And I'm, again, slowly stroking that, doing one stroke, right? We're going to one stroke this. I'm going to go down through the side, and then I'm going to go down through the other side. So center, right and left, or left or right, doesn't matter. Just the 3 strokes. You want to master this. And this just helps you be more fast on your hands. It helps you give a nice, clean application, right? So that's why you want to avoid, a little bit here, a little bit there, and all that other stuff. And then again, when you're using a thin top coat, you want to use a thin layer because this will drip everywhere. Now, if it's a thicker, because some of the gel tops are a little bit on the thicker side, you can go ahead and use a little bit more of the product, but you want to make sure you're doing the same. You're stretching it out completely onto the nail because you don't want it to look bulky, right? So me, personal preference, I like the thinner coats. That's just me. But that's pretty much it, guys. I'm going to go ahead and cure this. And then we're going to go ahead and use our second color. Now, if you guys want to go ahead and clean up your sides a little bit, if you see like it's running into the sides of your nail, you can go ahead and just wipe it down a little bit with your finger, and then that's pretty much it, right? No big of a deal. So I'm going to go ahead in with my second color. So we're going to go ahead in with this beautiful color by Legacy Nails, and then we're going to use the same technique. We're going to clean the back side of our brush, and with the most amount of product facing our nail, we're going to go ahead and place this right beneath the cuticle area. So we're going to be like right on top of the apex. We're going to go ahead and rock this into the cuticle area again, bringing that down, stretching that down so that the most amount is distributed in the center of our nail. We're going to go down the sides, right? And we're not worrying about this being even right now. We're just worrying about getting the product onto the nail. So now we're going to go ahead again and we're going to stretch the same amount of product that I already had on the brush. I didn't pick anything else up. I didn't add any more gel polish to the brush or anything. I'm using the same amount. And I'm stroking this in because I want to create this nail with just one layer. So by me saying one layer, I mean like the first layer. I'm not going to layer another coat on top, if that makes sense. So with my brush already full of the product that I picked up in the beginning, I'm just distributing and stretching this throughout the nail so that I'm creating a nice cover or layer of gel onto this nail, but I want it to look as even as possible. Now again, you don't want to press your brush into it too much because you don't want to create a bulky look. Now a quick tip or trick for you guys to get into that cuticle area, because sometimes we have clients that have a small cuticle area and we cannot get the brush all the way in there. And when we do try to do that, what happens is we create a mess, right? So what you can do is go close to it and then go in with a striper brush and just move this product into place. Now keeping that nail at the angle of a 45-degree angle, so kind of like facing the table, facing down. Make sure that your client is relaxed and they're not trying to look while you're doing this, because sometimes they want to see what we're doing. And what ends up happening is that by lifting their hands up for them to look and see, it starts to run into their cuticle area. You want to avoid that as well. So if this happens, you want to make sure you go in with a brush and some alcohol and make sure you clean that area out before curing, because it will not look nice, right? You want to make sure that you're creating that nice look. And then I'm just going to go ahead afterwards and clean my brush as much as possible and just blend that in. And then lightly stroking that into place. Give it a couple seconds for it to set. Clean your sides if you have to, because sometimes the gel starts running into your sides and you start losing that shape of your nail, so you want to avoid that as well. Also, I want to show you guys the end part of the nail. So if you guys can see that, I feel like it is a little thick in that area. I'm going to go ahead with my finger and I'm just going to clean this out just a little bit, because if it is too bulky at the end of the nail as well, it will lift. So we're going to go ahead and show you guys the green color again once it was topped and cured. I really hope you guys enjoy this. This is what you guys want to achieve every time you guys are going to do any type of gel application. Make sure you guys practice these techniques and I promise you will improve when it comes to applying gel. Now, I really hope this was helpful to you guys. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you are new here to my channel. And leave me some comments in the comments down below of what you guys would like to see next. I really had fun recording these videos for you guys. I hope you guys had fun as well. Don't forget to tag me if you guys have Instagram, and I'll see you guys in my next video.